I consider you the greatest artist, in the world. On the other hand, I consider Jessica to be like, pretty close to you in that regard. And it's not a coincidence that, you're married together, right? And she also kind of like fed off of this blueprint. It's not a coincidence that many of the people that do send you novels, right? Or poetry on the E-list, they also fed off of this blueprint. So I can imagine a sort of baseline being established where people don't necessarily fall all the way back to like the David Foster Wallace level stuff, right? Or they don't fall all the way back to like the lowest of the low. Like some of the, we're going to talk about your Camelot quintet next. And, like some of the myths that your quintet is based on, it's just really, really bad writing. Like I can imagine a situation where that no longer really exists, just like we don't really have like ethical systems being proposed by philosophers today that are as grisly as the kind of ethical systems that might have existed 2,000 years ago, right? It's just like we're past that point as a civilization. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, let me burst your bubble a little bit here. I think you're being too optimistic. And I try to be optimistic in life. And let me give another example from this morning, because I was writing a couple of thousand words in my novel, and I'm in one of those low periods where I've now written about, I don't know, over 500 pages there, and I've got the thing, and I'm in between sort of different drafts of it, and I'm just doing the grunt work now for a week or so as my body is trying to relax a little bit. But I was looking. Watching some YouTube videos, and something really annoyed me. Now, Schrodinger's cat. The idea of Schrodinger's cat, about the cat being in a box, and we don't know if it's alive or dead unless we send something in there. It's in a superposition. And this video angered me because it's from one of the more credible YouTube science videos. And I'll tie this into art in a moment. And it goes on talking about, well, Schrodinger, the cat is both dead and alive until we have some way of measuring whether it's dead or alive. It's in a superposition. And they keep saying this as if this is what Schrodinger meant, totally missing the fact that the whole point of Schrodinger's cat, the very reason he used this example, was because he knew and was showing how absolutely absurd that is. The cat is either dead or alive. There aren't two cats. You cannot split the universe into quantum things. There aren't an infinity of universes splitting off, becoming. This is just theoretical stuff that he was proposing. And the fact that this science video didn't get that, and for every 1,000 videos or references to Schrodinger's cat that you get out on the internet, maybe one gets it right in saying that this was Schrodinger making fun of that very kind of supposition. And here's the point where it gets back to art. The idea of a cat being in superposition, and forgetting all the technical, philosophical, and sciencey terms, it's a very simple concept to grasp. Much more simple than trying to grasp the narrative of Moby Dick or Tristram Shandy, or trying to understand even a simpler art form like music. Try to understand how the musical notes brachiate within a Beethoven concerto, and compare them to the simple idea of cats are not alive and dead unless someone looks at it. Schrodinger had a very simple idea. He was mocking the very idea that these people claim that he was supporting, and they don't get it now, still almost a century going on since he proposed it, 75, 80 years, whatever it is. And how the hell can you get people? And this person who does these science videos, these people who do these science videos are generally well-educated. They've gone to college. They are looking to teach people, and they're getting the most simple things wrong. You cannot tell me that if you can't get what Schrodinger's cat was about, that you're going to get what Moby Dick was about. And this is the most frustrating thing. And this is, so if the simple stuff of science, relatively simple compared to art, is flummoxing people for decades, how in the fuck are you going to do it with art? So I'm not as optimistic as you are. I think that eventually people will come around to see some of the things that I've said are very obvious, but it's going to take a lot of work, and it's not going to happen in my lifetime.